It was late May, and Kaylee and I decided it was finally time to tackle a project we have been dreaming about for a long time. Food is such an important part of our lives. We're lucky to live in a place with abundant farmlands and access to high-quality local produce. But now we wanted to take matters into our own hands. So with a very loose plan in mind, we started measuring out a space for our vegetable garden. So when I was looking for wood, my friend Casey told me about this place right down the road that sells black locust. And when I was driving there today, I had a suspicion, and I was right when I arrived. It used to be under a different name, run by this guy called Blue Sky. And I remember going there with my dad when I was young and picking up wood. Our old grape arbor is built from black locust. It was a nostalgic journey, and the guy who runs it now is around my age. I kind of have a rough plan of how I'm gonna build this. Kyle's coming tomorrow with his excavator to level out the ground, and we'll put the poles in. It's fun. I haven't done a big project like this for myself in a long time. We used to do them when I was a kid, building the treehouse, building swords, building forts, but I guess this is my first adult project of this nature, so I'm really excited for it. It's fun, especially this time of year, to be outside, getting sweaty. And this is my first garden. My mom used to have a garden on the other side of the house, but it never produced the best stuff. I don't know, I think it's too wet down there and too shady. I'm really excited to start the process of learning how to grow food. Kaylee has done it many times before. I've never done it myself. Kyle and I went back to the locust mill to pick up more wood. When I originally reached out to the owner, Joey, I had asked him about dimensional lumber to build the beds. The quote was well out of my budget, but he told me about a large stack of live edge boards, and he gave me a great deal. The picture of the garden in my head was becoming clearer as we loaded them into my truck. These boards have a soul. They felt alive. We arrived back home and finished the excavation before putting in the 4 corner posts.
Perfectly level, and I love how it's like this little trail around, and then you have your cove, and then you have your path.
That's a deep. This is all. And that's where you can get super creative.
Have you watched Pro Home Cooks recently? Like his garden? He made a video like a month ago explaining his garden.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's like
3.0, I don't even know if it's enough to get through black locust. So yeah, really yeah. He has it for the fact that it's pulled my weight up the hill is impressive. This thing is dangerous.
It really is.
If you don't know.
These first few days of work with Kyle were some of my favorites. It was a time where the garden was just an idea in my head. It was hard to conceptualize the final product. Just two friends working outside all day long. When I dropped out of college, there was a period of time where I worked some labor construction jobs to earn cash during the summers. That was the last job I had where I truly dreaded going into work. Despite it being mostly outside and physical, I couldn't stand the idea of working for someone else in that way, trading my time and energy for minimum wage. It kind of soured me on the idea of building in general, but throughout the years, helping Kyle with projects, and now my own, I came to love this type of work again. When it's for yourself, the feeling is completely different. Working with your hands is one of the most empowering and satisfying activities. It's another monster!
Now we have the pleasure of working with the two best posts in the lot.
Seriously.
So.
These ones we're gonna perhaps want to level.
Yeah.
Make sure they're The only way to dig proper depth of a post is you gotta carve it down enough so that when you reach in, you got your ear to the dirt, and then you can listen.
It tells you.
Tells you when you're done. There's no need to go any further.
Yeah. That is satisfaction.
That is.
That's fresh dirt.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh, we got a
With blue dirt. That is not a joke.
The days were starting to really heat up, and we made sure to take plenty of breaks to keep cool. Kaylee was back from a few days away, and we planted some wildflower seeds on the soil runoff. So we just laid all of our boards out in terms of where they're gonna go. So we have bottom braces, top braces, all the way around, and then the beds. And we pretty much have a perfect amount of boards, which is crazy because I was just kind of estimating and somehow it's all gonna work out perfectly. So now the next step is to start building beds. There's a few pieces that we're not gonna rip at all. They're wide enough as is. And so we're going to have 3 beds that are, above 16 inches from the ground, and then 3 that are around 12. And we'll plant different things in them based on what needs longer roots. So this project is all about embracing the imperfections in the wood. But sometimes you kind of get lucky. These 2 pieces just happen to fit together really well. I mean, there's like a 1/4 inch gap in some places alongside, but I can cover that with landscaping cloth or just another piece of wood to kind of brace it together. So it's really fun when you find these like perfect matches. So all of the beds are complete. It was actually easier than I thought once I embraced that they weren't going to be perfect. When they're filled out and we have stones on the ground, I think it's going to look really, really good. And then put the fence up, and so by the end of this week should be ready to plant. Over the course of the next few days, we got 3 very special deliveries: our soil, stone, and the lifting machine. I woke up early and got started as soon as the sun was up. Slowly but surely, the pile of soil was getting smaller and smaller. I've been out here for 2 hours with the skid steer and pretty much filled every single bed. This would have taken me, I don't know how long, doing this with a cart or a wheelbarrow. Just like the excavation, I would not have been able to do it without Kyle and his excavator. You need the right tools, and then it opens up a whole new world. I had come to this realization because I've always looked at this property, this land, as home. It's been unchanged pretty much since I was a kid, and so I never looked at it through the eyes of opportunity, like what it could be, because it was just the status quo for so long. But doing a project like this, seeing what these tools can do, seeing actually how much land there is really exciting. And I have a bunch of stone to put down to cover on top of the landscaping fabric. And then I just need to put up the fence, which is going to be tough to do alone, but I think I could probably do most of it. I moved on to the stone. I was in a great rhythm now. Having refamiliarized myself with the skid steer, it now felt natural. I began attaching the deer fence as I was loading in the stone, so I had a clear idea of where I could fill to. Then it was time to build our walkway. It was so satisfying to see when things started to come together. Finished putting up the fence, and then it was time to start planting. These stones are hot. While I took the lead on building, Kaylee was in charge of planting. She picked up all of our veggies from a local nursery. The next day, I tackled all the horizontal braces. Black locust is really heavy, and it was difficult to do alone, but I worked through it. We still had some leftover soil, and with the one day left with the skid steer, I carried it up the hill so we had it close by if we needed, and I dug out a few places for extra beds out front. Now we were just doing the finishing touches. Walking into the final garden for the first time was surreal. A few weeks ago, this was just a hilltop. Now, it was an oasis to grow food and to spend time with friends. It's one of those things that now that it's complete and our crops are growing, I can't believe we didn't do this sooner. Food is so integral in our lives. To grow it ourselves was just an inevitability. During the construction, I had so much fun building and designing. I almost forgot this was going to be a place to feed us as well. We were so happy with how it turned out, and it came together in such an organic way. Casey reminding me about the black locust, Kyle offering to help and give advice. Everything here is sourced locally. The plants, the stones, the wood. The garden feels like it belongs in this field. It fits into the landscape so well, the natural look of the wood, surrounded by trees that my parents planted 30 years ago. Now we have a garden that will last a lifetime.